Hey, what's up, y'all? Welcome to this week in white supremacy. You know what I'm saying? We got a lot to talk about today, as always. What? That's weird. Like, I don't know why Farouk's so mad. You mad at white supremacy today? Like white supremacy that got on his last nerve. He's furious.
Yeah, something did.
I forgot. Oh, the conversation we just had. I forgot that fast. Come on, Chairman Farouk. Come on, man. I don't call you the chairman.
That's a nice old.
So I would like everybody to know this will be my last broadcast as a member of the This Week in White Supremacy
We're
team.
just gonna
because he's switching to Wonder Twins. That's why.
Come on, Farouk. Yeah. If Farouk leaves, we're just gonna put a pair of sunglasses in front of a mic, man. That'll just be the representation of it. So I'm just serious. I am co-founder, CEO of One Heard Media, and it's a man like Shades. You want to tell him about yourself, man?
Man, you know it's the one your girlfriend says portraits of. You think she don't? Of course she does. Stay tuned. There's more to come. It's the revolutionary but gorgeous one.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Wow. Okay, Miracle. Did you want to follow that flow?
What's popping? It's your girl, Miracle. You know what it is. We out here in the wild streets of Ohio, broadcasting live. The better half of the Wonder Twins, you know, going with a positive attitude today.
Yeah.
What's popping?
The world traveler. And live from the game room.
Yeah, it's Treble NLS. You know, we got some next level switch going on behind me. Feel me? I'm just a regular guy today.
Come on, just
nothing
a
crazy, nothing special.
So we got. I mean, you know, I probably shouldn't keep saying we got a lot to talk about every week because we always have. It's always like too much white supremacy for us to cover. You know, I mean, it's like the white supremacy is coming at an all-time high rate. However, you know, right now we're still like the election fallout is happening. Last night, it was a big deal in Wayne County in Michigan, where basically two Republican vote like canvassers. I think it was something to that effect. Basically, did not want to certify the votes in Wayne County, Michigan. And what's happening with right now, the Republicans is kind of like they're mad. I mean, it's almost like the backlash of like black people going out and voting in places like Detroit, places like Atlanta, places like Philadelphia, places like Pittsburgh, places like Milwaukee. And now it seems that, you know, I mean, we were dealing with voter suppression on the front end, but now it's like you have Republicans and white supremacists who don't want to even acknowledge our votes on the back end. And so when these GOP individuals did not want to certify these results, despite the fact that, and they basically came out and said they didn't want to certify these votes from Detroit. That there was a white city. Well, I'll let my man Ned. So whoever Ned is, shout out to Ned, because Ned was putting everybody's ass. Like Ned was not playing. Ned was like, I'm gonna be an ally today. You know what I'm saying? for black voters in Michigan. Can you pull that video up?
This is true allyship right here.
John? Yeah, Ned had to say, as they said, like Ned had time today. It's funny that his name is Ned because that's like a super white name. But Ned had time today, and Ned, you know, wanted to talk to his white colleagues and tell them about themselves. Let's hear from our brother Ned.
We also know that the Secretary of State and the Attorney General have already tweeted out that your legal arguments are rubbish and you're going to lose when it comes to court. So we're not worried about that at all. I'm also not worried about any of your, things are bad so we can't certify arguments, because that's just ridiculous. You certified in August when they were worse. Less than 50% of the ballots were recountable. Now over 72% are. 58% of them were even balanced when it was less than 30% last time. So it's doubled. It's gotten way better because the Secretary of State actually jumped in and did her job, unlike you. But I know it's not going to change your opinion. You talked about not certifying Detroit, even though you acknowledged that Livonia, a city, by the way, I know you know is 95% white, had bigger variances than Detroit, which is 80% black. We understand. And you now added your name. So I'm not going to try to change your mind. I just want to let you know that the Trump stink, the stain of racism that you, William Hartman, and Monica Palmer have just covered yourself in is going to follow you throughout history. Your grandchildren are going to think of you like Bull Connor or George Wallace. Monica Palmer and William Hartman will forever be known in southeastern Michigan as two racists who did something so unprecedented that
Come on, Ned.
disenfranchised hundreds of thousands of black voters in the city of Detroit because they were ordered to. Probably, I know, Monica, you think Q told you to do it or some other crazy stuff
Right.
like that. But just know when you try to sleep tonight, that millions of people around the world now on Twitter know the name Monica Palmer and William Hartman as two people completely racist and without an understanding of what integrity means or a shred of human decency. The law isn't on your side, history won't be on your side, your conscience will not be on your side, and Lord knows, when you go to meet your maker, your soul is going to be very, very warm.
Get him, Ned. Right. When you go meet that black guy, right? So comments, anybody wanna, follow Ned? Ned had some bars, man.
My first thing about, I guess we're seeing that, black votes do matter. That's the only thing I got to say. I guess our vote really did matter. If they go into this length to discount, suppress, and remove it, looks like we got some attention.
Right. I think that's the thing. Is one thing. We saw the voter suppression. We saw really these attempts, particularly the attempts to not get. Oh, we adopt Ned. Dr. Russell said we're gonna adopt Ned. You know what I'm saying? Ned did bring them receipts. Like Ned broke it down. And Ned ain't say nothing but the truth. Like Monica Palmer, William Hartman. What they did was straight racism. What they did was, this is the classic case of you mad because your man lost, and because he lost, now you don't want to certify this thing. And he lost Michigan because Detroit came out. He lost Wisconsin because Milwaukee came out. He lost Pennsylvania because Philly and Pittsburgh came out. He lost Georgia because Atlanta came out. So it's wild not only to see what Michigan is doing, and of course, like one of the things that happened, and Trump tweeted out support for these races, even though because of pressure they did end up certifying it. But we see they're talking about recounting Milwaukee County and Wisconsin. We saw Rudy Giuliani talk about Philly and Pittsburgh and these machines. You know what I'm saying? And we're seeing you have Lindsey Graham talking to the head of the elections in Georgia, who is a fellow Republican, and basically telling him, he needs to get rid of legal ballots. And so I think you have all this stuff happening. So like Farouk said, so Miracle, legally, like what is happening? Should these people be in jail? Do we have any, I know Trump is filing a bunch of
yes, they
recourse?
should be in jail. Yeah, you do have recourse, because when you are sworn in to be an elector or someone who is representing your party, you take an oath to uphold the laws and defend the Constitution, your state constitution, your city constitution, your whatever. So yeah, they were in direct violation. And so it's going to be interesting to see if the DNC, with all this unity talk, is going to say, you know what, Josh Shapiro, go ahead and file charges against Rudy Giuliani for lying in court. Go ahead and actually file complaints against these electors who are violating and breaking the law and not certifying these votes. Again, you can fear anything. You can fear voter fraud. You can fear voter suppression. But if you don't have facts to follow up your claims, you are not allowed to act on them. You are not allowed to discount thousands and thousands of ballots. And what's very important to understand is all of this voter fraud is being levied against places where there are over 50% Black populations. Outside, with Pittsburgh being the exception, the majority of these places are actually trying to say that Black votes are what's illegal and Black votes are what's supposed to be discounted, and not to toot our own horn But the Republican strategy was to sit there and say mail-in ballots received after the election were supposed to be discounted because they were illegal. And it was organizations like us who are supported by the Black Voters Matter Fund who really got the word out and told people October 17th is election day. Start sending your ballot out by October 17th, October 21st at the latest. And that really changed. So millions upon millions of people across this country actually put in their ballots appropriately, and they were received by election day. And so now there is no room for error. And in fact, in places like Georgia, the recount is basically showing that Biden won more of a margin, because now they're doing the provisional ballots. They're getting ballots from the military. And let's point out that Trump has not been a friend to the military these past 4 years. So they are going with Biden again. Whatever that means on isolationist policies, you can make your own choices. But yeah, like these people, as abolitionists, I don't believe people belong in jail, but these people deserve to be held accountable. Some complaints, Judy Allen needs to lose his law license. A whole bunch of stuff needs to happen. I don't think it's going to, because white supremacy protects itself and everybody. So you saw Kamala fist bump Lindsey Graham. Like people are they're so like obsessed with culture and this identity of being peaceful, and they're not. Democrats don't know how to fight.
Yeah,
can we imagine if this happened during the Obama administration?
I mean, we already know. I mean, like,
just like, come on, bro. Like,
they probably try to burn the White House down, but I feel like like Kamala, like if you're gonna lock people up, like start with these, because that was one of the reasons. A lot of people talk about Kamala locking people up and being the top cop. It's like, like go get your boys, go get Lindsey Graham. You know what I'm saying? If he's on tape and somebody else, another witness came out and said she was on the call, or he or she was on the call and said that Lindsey Graham said, get rid of these legal ballots. Like, to me, if, break out that crime bill, Biden, like, President Joe, like, and go get these people. And I mean, I say that to say, like, I was watching one of those channels, and they said the first thing that President Biden's going to have to do is deal with like all the laws that Donald Trump broke when he was president. And I'm thinking, like, man, like the fact that this, and that's why I respect the sister in I think her name is James in New York. She was like, whether Trump wins or loses, he gonna have to come deal with me. I'm the Attorney General. He broke the law in New York, and he gonna have to come deal with me. And like you said, I wish. I mean, because for you to talk unity, like we can't talk unity if you flying Nazi flags and Confederate flags. Like, how the hell am I gonna talk unity with you at that point? But I think that's kind of what we're seeing is like this idea that, okay, the Democrats won. Now let's bring America together from the Democrat side. And these Republicans are talking about killing people. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you just seen like the million. Sorry. It's hard for me to say.
The million MAGA. I don't think as a former member of the NOI, you allowed to say million MAGA march.
I would say this, like,
shake the table for
somebody broke it down. Somebody broke it down and was like, Blue Lives Matter, million MAGA march. Like, all you do is like take the swag from Black people, what Black people start with Black people. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have the identity, your own identity to go do it, for yourself. And Lord knows it was.
That's why they selling rap. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, you thought you was gonna jump up and what in a week bring 1 million people, and they said it was 1,000 at best. You know what I'm saying? At best, and it's like, but you and of course Trump and them tweeted it was 1 million. But from folks that were there, right, the 1,000.
For him to be so rich, his math ain't so good, man.
Not
his mathematics aren't that great.
I mean, we see that with his taxes. You know what I'm saying?
Well, y'all out here hustling and scheming and scamming folks, so your math don't have to add up.
I mean, Trump is basically just gonna lie. I mean, they knew it wasn't, going to be 1 million people. Of course, there wasn't no police there, but then people were saying like, the reason we didn't see police in the Proud Boys is because, the reason you don't see Bruce Wayne and Batman together, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? So
didn't you say there were 7 stabbings? at this event, or was this?
That was
So the Proud Boys were out stabbing people. They were out. They went to Black Lives Matter Plaza, which is the plaza in DC. They ripped down posters. They ripped down Black Lives Matter signage. Some of the signage was government sponsored. You know, when they had all of they were finally paying Black artists and realizing Black artists exist, so they could write Black Lives Matter in the street. And they were just out there just desecrating memorials to Black people. And Brittany, Chantel, who of course, dropped a new single this week, was the tampon correspondent.
The tampon correspondent.
They were out in the wilds of DC, and they saw the bigotry on display. And it's just like, I get frustrated because people don't understand how dangerous it is to go out and protest. And you actually see these people rioting, creating conspiracy to harm, actually gangs and mobs harming folks, coming after local DC residents, and the police just let it happen. Meanwhile, just a few weeks ago, when people were just demanding that the government hold police accountable and taking to the streets, there are tear gas, shot, pepper sprayed. Yeah. Over 700 folks are still being processed from the George Floyd uprisings. And you see these wackos just out here really mobbing with no legal police presence. It's ridiculous.
Before you go, Farouk, I did want to show a little bit of the video, just because, like, when you talk about just watch. I just want to show like a minute of this video. And this is the Proud Boys in Washington D.C. at this 100 MAGA march.
Are they stealing our chance?
Bro, it gets worse.
They have no originality.
Say his name.
What?
Wow.
Look, where the cops in riot gear?
They're literally doing the same exact things. Like, literally. Except that we don't do that.
And this is patriotism right here. This is patriotism.
Yeah.
I would like to say while we're watching this.
No Trump, no peace.
Trump, no peace.
Literally, they colonized our protests. They colonized and gentrified our protests. I just want to say one thing. Say his name. When you say somebody's name, it's because they're dead. So, like, are you speaking death upon your leader? Like, I don't understand.
You know what's interesting to me that I just peeped? The fact that they even know these chants means that they might have been at the protests.
Bro. And I said that from the jump, that people who were at the protest voted for Trump. All the people, there's no way they didn't. But what I was gonna say, that's a great point. That is a great fucking point. What I was gonna say though is the shit they hijacked it from, that they try to commodify. The original Million Man March and the Millions More March were peaceful. Nobody got stabbed.
Nobody got
stabbed.
There
was no knife crime.
No.
There was, you know what it was? It was a million brothers out there and sisters slinging bean pies, coming together under liberation, and having a good time. Nobody got shanked up, bro. And this is in a fraction, not even a fraction of the Millions Man March. They were out there stabbing people.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, at the Million Man March, you had hundreds of thousands of people being registered to vote. At the Million Man March, when everybody left, they actually picked up all of the trash. So like the streets were clean after the Million Man March. And so and you know what I mean? Like, so when you want to get into that history, but look at they were like causing trash, breaking stuff. But it just reminds me of like that Soulja Boy video where he was like, yo, he stole my whole he stole my they didn't even come with no
Proud Boys.
They didn't come with no, bring it right.
Proud Boys.
Proud Boys. Like, you're just going to come in to take our whole chance, So I mean, it's wild to me to watch. And then people didn't go crazy. It wasn't a whole bunch of riot cops out there. According to Brittany, she said they were taking pictures with the cops. The Proud Boys and the cops were taking pictures together. And so it just shows that how,
but like, off duty. That's why.
Look, they
were on duty. They were fully
the Proud Boys is off duty.
Oh,
that's why they were taking pictures of the police.
spreading trash, hate, and COVID. You know damn well they brought a whole bunch of COVID.
They the reason cases is high right now, man.
DC is still, there's still a large population of Black and brown people who live in DC who have to work, who are essential workers. And now, whether they're working at that hotel or at any of those stores, are now being exposed to COVID because these people weren't masked up. We're coughing, we're spitting, we're yelling, we're screaming, we're passing mics and just all around nastiness. And it's like, I know we're having things taking next week, but at what point do white people say, you know what, maybe we should stop spreading diseases to Black and brown people across the globe? Like, it's 2020. Can we get
that's been the
a new innovative way to engage and to conquer? Like, you're still in our struggle. You're just like your colonizer aunties and uncles. Like, nothing is new. So like, let's change something.
Yeah, Thanksgiving was actually like they celebrating when they first spread disease amongst the people.
That's they dot right there.
Like, that was the jump off. That was the jump off.
They came with smallpox, unseasoned turkey, and them whack belt buckles on the sneakers.
And rats, bro.
And I just want to say
invasive
that they had this guy talking about this is what happens when white people unite. So to all the Black and brown MAGA people, to all the Black and brown proud, what the hell y'all thinking? Like, when you sitting in this crowd and they talking about white power and white supremacy, like what do you see when you look in the mirror? I'm just curious.
Why is it whenever a large congregation of white people happen, fire is not far behind them? Like literal fire. There's always something on fire, whether it's at a college football game. They set couches on fire, they loot, they burn things, they vandalize. Black folks don't do that we don't do that unless it's a cookout, and then it's normally a grill. That's it.
That's how you know the police be out there. That's how you know the police be out there setting a lot of these buildings and stuff on fire, aka free Josh Williams. But that's how you know the police be out here setting people up, like burning cars and stuff, like, because we don't do that.
Yeah,
that's not Black behavior.
One of them far right groups, for the Boogaloo Boys, was actually the one charged with burning the precinct down in Minneapolis. You know what I'm
funny,
saying?
Whenever you say Boogaloo Boys, I think of breaking, like electric.
Yeah,
Boogaloo.
Yeah, like
you get me? Yeah, man. Turbo on ozone, Boogaloo shrimp.
You done stole our swag again. Like you can't even get your own cool name.
They got the Bayou Boys, man. They take them from the New Orleans, the Pelicans, the Bayou Boys, man.
Well, let's bring it home. I mean, speaking of white supremacist hubs, you know, we obviously, I mean, we know, I mean, we live in a white supremacist hub. However, you know, the FBI, if you know, a lot of times people be acting like it's not, and you know, we all get along, and it's like, no, according to the FBI, and that's what, you know, we just had a conversation with the guy from the BBC, and he was like, are you worried about white supremacists in the suburb? We worried about the white supremacists in the city, my dog. Like, you know, we ain't got to go to the suburbs for white supremacists, right? Pittsburgh is a hub. So what do y'all think this week in white supremacy, that we're broadcasting from the hub? Does that give us more legitimacy? Like,
I mean, it does, but like, I think this is the definition of irony when the Post-Gazette went on Fox News to diss us, supported Donald Trump, and then says that Pittsburgh is a hub for white supremacy. When we say it, we're being extremists, we're exaggerating, and we're throwing fuel on a fire. Why is it got to be about race? But when you say it, it's journalism, it's news.
But we also know that the Post-Gazette is a hub for white supremacy. I mean, that's
a fact.
I mean, that should be the next article. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But the reality is, you know, this is something that we knew. This is something that we've been fighting and battling against. But the fact that, and what was wild about the article was no comment from the mayor's office.
Of course.
No comment. You know what I'm saying? Like, not even. I mean, you couldn't even muster up what we're trying to get. We're trying to work together with other races. You can't even muster that up. You know what I'm saying? But I mean,
it's stronger than hate.
I mean, you know, right? This was the place of stronger than hate, a hub of white supremacy.
I mean, I think we have to keep. I always bring it up. Like, Dulane Cameron was killed on the north side by a white supremacist. Was stabbed right downtown, and you don't really hear about it. because our leadership are more concerned about image than it is about the facts and realities of the situation. Yeah. And we've said for years there are white supremacists in the city, and I believe it was when the Klan came and was flyering in Oakland, the mayor did say that that was their First Amendment right to do so. And so we're in the situation where Black and brown students have for years said there are avid white supremacists on our campus in our city who are our neighbors, and no one's done anything about it. And now when you're like fearful of white people taking up weapons and killing other white people in this impending race war, now you want to say something about it. Like, it's, y'all are not talking about this just because you feel for Black and brown people. You're talking about this because you feel like other white people are about to be harmed.
May I ask a question to the mayor right now?
Ooh.
I mean, he don't like us. I'm pretty sure.
It's just like
not watching this.
All the Black people that are in your office that you love parading around whenever there's task force and news cameras around, what do you explain to them about when you're silent on these issues? You love speaking out against Black people when they're taking the streets to dance and call attention to these issues. But when you have, and I'm not gonna say the words I want to say because I know a couple of you, but how does you allow the mayor to justify that his silence speaking on white supremacy or the failure to do so when you have a cabinet full of Black people you always love to parade around when it's convenient for you to do so? So Mr. Peduto, holla at me. I got questions.
But I will say I will defend the Black
Get your
people
tweet or
in
your
the
fleet
mayor's
on.
office because I know them and they are doing amazing work and they are pushing advocacy and policy. I would like the mayor, who is the current seat holder, to again advocate for Black people the way he advocates for the end of fossil fuels, the way he advocates for these private public partnerships, and the way he advocates for investment in the city. If you advocate for Black people the way you do these other issues, a lot of the negative perception of Pittsburgh would change in an instant. The city would be so much safer for all of us who live here. And I need you to stop taking these critiques personally and be motivated to act with policy decisions and engagement.
And that's it. I'm not coming at anybody specifically, but because Miracle said there are plenty of Black people in the mayor's office that are doing great work right now, and representation does count. But at this point, we have to look at it as the mayor is just using these Black faces to hide him, or as act as a buffer to absorb all this critique that he's getting from us.
Yeah, and it's interesting because when the mayor did the city, well, it says city official, so I can't put this on the mayor. But when WTAE did an article that said records show African Americans in Pittsburgh are far more likely than whites to be stopped, frisked, or arrested by police while driving. It says while the statistics show a clear racial disparity for traffic stops, city officials said that does not mean police are intentionally discriminating.
Then what else does it mean? What else does the data conclude?
I can't even get it out. They're not intentionally discriminating.
This is why Candace Owens is such a threat. But this is why Candace Owens was such a threat. She literally built her whole entire platform off saying numbers don't matter. Numbers are insignificant. What happens to Black people isn't racism. So now we have these politicians who take what she says and refuse to act. Year after year, month after month, we keep saying Black people are disparately impacted. It has to be racism. They're not breaking the law more. They're not living in more impoverished areas. They're not driving recklessly. They don't have the DSA does brake lights. It's a mixture of people who come out. At some point, we have to be real and honest with ourselves and call a spade and say this is racism. And we need to address it. Like, I don't understand what the problem is. It's like seeing somebody get shot and like, you know what? Maybe they scratched their toe. Maybe they have a cold.
Yeah.
Like, hey, Miracle, I got a question for you.
It makes no sense.
I got a question for you, Miracle. You think Candace Owens wrap her hair up at night before she go to sleep?
Absolutely.
You know what? I have been called not to personally attack people. It's really, really hard. But to talk about these systems,
it ain't hard for me.
It is very hard.
Listen,
I want more. I'm not gonna. No, she probably doesn't. Like, No,
I
she
do
probably
want to
don't
say.
wash her hair.
I do
She
wanna
probably
say
still uses Cantu products. Like, I don't know what to say. Like,
I may or may not have some Cantu in the house still.
real quick.
I didn't get
Trouble.
that memo. I didn't get that memo.
Before you get to trouble, I just did want to read these stats. It said Black men are 3 times more likely to be subjected to traffic stops, 10 times more likely to be frisked, and 6 times more likely to be arrested. Trouble.
So I've been thinking about this question lately, and because I realize a lot of people who are like super excited to join the police force are usually from places where racism is the norm. So it's kind of like, and then they're given these badges, and then they're hired to patrol neighborhoods that like it's the norm in their communities to kind of like dislike and treat a certain type of way. So it's like, it makes me think like, why would you hire someone on your police force to patrol Black neighborhoods if that person does not hold in their values that Black lives matter? You know what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, I think the person sending out the patrols, they don't care that Black lives matter. You know what I'm saying? And it's wild to like read this article and hear like University of Law Professor David Harris saying there's enough for us to tell citizens that there's racial disparity. There isn't enough for us to tell why it's there, and that's what we should be learning. But while you're learning that, guess what's happening? You know, Professor Harris, we still getting pulled over. Like, we still getting sent to jail. We're still being harassed. And every time we get pulled over, like, our lives are at risk. You know, you can sit back. And I know Professor Harris is somebody who speaks to these issues, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, I would say holla at me, man. You know what I'm saying? Holla at me. But at the same time, man, while you studying, our lives are in danger while you studying these things. And that, to me, is why we can't accept that, oh, well, we need to do more studying when there's clear racial disparity and we're seeing what's happening around Black people policing. It's just ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? That's
a place of privilege, bro, to just be able to be like, you know, like, we're just going to sit back and study. It's like, well, like, if you actually, you know what I'm saying, understood and empathized with Black lives, and you would know that, like, our study is through experience, through lived experience. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to study any more than just to listen to the Black perspective as we're presenting it to you. You know what I'm saying?
Whether it's the Tuskegee experiment or whether it's traffic stops, they love using Black bodies as data.
I mean, it still happens because all the HIV/AIDS research they keep talking about every other week, even the new vaccines, it's always done on Black bodies. But I will say, in speaking to this particular issue, Representative Jake Wheatley has introduced a couple of pieces of legislation that would give forgiveness to people who've been stopped and policed in traffic, will allow them to get their licenses back and everything. So there is work being done. But on a more insidious nature, the reason why no one wants to say that there is racism, because the minute you say racism is the why these disparities happen, there is legal responsibilities and accountabilities for these institutions to fix it. And so nobody wants to say, oh, this is because of race, because then it would be a civil rights violation. And then you would have to start fixing it, putting money towards it, figuring out what the actual causes are and making actual changes. So when people say we don't know if it's a racial thing, they're basically trying to avoid responsibility to take on and fix the issue. And that's how insidious white supremacy is. It's like we all know something is happening, but because we don't call it out, nothing can be done to change it.
And it's wild that you say that, because, you know, you sent us this article, Miracle, from the University of Miami, that it said that, you know, in the first of its kind study, the University of Miami researchers found that police exhibit significantly higher levels of anti-Black biases than the general public. You know what I'm saying? So if you look at this, it talked about, you know, the researchers were saying like they found alarming levels of both implicit and explicit bias among the officers. This was they compared 8,000 police officers who took this test. You know what I'm saying? And so what are we supposed to say to that when now we actually have data? I mean, is this the data that, you know, the task force needed You know what I'm saying? They did data, they studied these officers, and guess what? They anti-black, which we already knew, because why would we be getting pulled over 3 more times than white people? Why would we be getting frisked 10 more times, and why would we be getting arrested 6 more times?
I feel like this tells us why another 4 years of Trump would be harmful, because it's like there are people out there now who hear all of this data and say like the numbers don't matter.
True.
You know what I'm saying? They'll say, they're just numbers. Don't trust them. Who's giving you these numbers? You know what I'm saying? Like Trump has kind of enabled them to kind of be like, we don't care about the data. The scientists, they're on your side. They're probably Democrats, you know?
Quantifying data, right, is always interesting because, as again, you play politics with black bodies all the time, and you like moving us around to fit this narrative. But the fact of the matter is, we've had 2 studies come out in very prestigious, universities and works. One was that implicit bias training does not work at all. It renders itself obsolete. And then this study shows that police are anti-black inherently. Go figure. An organization that was created to return black people as property is anti-black. Wow. How many hundreds of years did it take us to arrive at this conclusion? Jeez, bro.
But it's also stuff that's very well known. One of my best friends is Caucasian presenting. They're white. And we were in a situation where they literally broke a bunch of traffic laws and were like, you know what? If I was black, I would probably be in jail right now, because they did it in front of the police. And I was like in literal shock that the police didn't do anything about it. So people already know, like, your most racist person in the heart of Dixieland, America, already knows what these systems are functioning for. And they're fighting to keep these systems as they are. So we over here are running around producing data, double-blind studies, peer-reviewed research, and then we get like, that's just some liberal university junk. I'm not going to pay attention to it. So it's like, at what point are we going to say, you know what, we are just going to fix the solutions ourselves, because these systems are not going to do it for us.
Yeah, but if you wanted like an actual story, like if the data is bothering you, how about Judge Tranquilly? You know what I'm saying? So we had a judge in Allegheny County, and I say had a judge because this
nigga wild.
He just resigned because he was going on a trial for misconduct. And Judge Tranquilly, they said he was accused of 6 separate misconduct counts, including engaging in racial or other harassment. You know what I'm saying? He basically looked at one of the jurors and said they looked like Aunt Jemima. They said that they brought charges that he spoke in Ebonics to a black couple during a custody matter.
What's that even sound like? I want to know what that audio tape sounds like. Because what if
when
he sounded
Bill O'Reilly was reading Ludacris's raps on Fox?
But I'm saying, so now here's a judge. Here's a guy who was a DA. You know what I'm saying? Okay. He became a judge. And what was he? He was somebody that was real pro cop and all that stuff. And guess what? He's racist. And like, it wasn't, it's like we could look at his record, probably could look at his face. I mean,
he ain't got no lips. Of course he's racist.
Here y'all go again talking about people.
I mean, at this point,
shooters gonna shoot. Shooters gonna shoot, man. What did I say? Shooters is gonna shoot.
But I'm just saying, like, and it's
next
like
week we're gonna try to do better next week.
It's like, and that was the whole thing around like Trump, like what Trump was saying, like it was like what Trump? Tell me how Trump's racist. I mean, I had a white person roll up on me, and it's like, you're what do you need, a tape of him saying nigga? Like, it's like, look at how he governs. You know what I'm saying? Look at the policies. Like, but he's on record talking about black places as shitholes. I mean, come on, man. And so
of all the federal judges, the 108 positions, he didn't appoint not one black judge.
Not one black person. But it's like we gotta catch racists. We had to catch this dude calling somebody Aunt Jemima to show he was racist and actually get him out of the court. I mean, that's
not the definition. He tried to say he wasn't talking about the woman. He was talking about her headscarf. It's like, what does that mean?
What?
Bro, like, are you that culturally unaware? Bro? You feel me? Like,
it's like that is the definition of. Go ahead, Miracle. I'm sorry.
The only reason he got in trouble, it was a district attorney who filed charges against him because he was so irate of how the judge berated him in open court. So this individual has had a record in Allegheny County of saying some pretty off the wall things. Again, is why I don't want to practice personally in Allegheny County because it is very anti-Black. And the only reason he's getting in trouble isn't because of what he said, is because it was another district attorney who was a prominent district attorney filed charges against him. So, like, if it was anybody else, if it was a public defender, Tranquility would still be there.
The definition of white supremacy is for them to think that the only way you could be racist is to call someone a nigger or call someone out of the race. Like, that's the definition of it. You're so supreme in your thinking and that your delivery that the only way you could be racist is not through policies, it's not through education, it's not through finances, it's not through no other form of oppression. It's just language. That's the only way, bro. That's the bare minimum for racism anymore. Right. That's the bare minimum.
And I mean, don't forget, he also said that the reason this woman gave a not guilty verdict is because her baby daddy probably sold heroin. Like he said, but just like you said, like we gotta. Oh, now he's racist. It's like his record doesn't matter. All of these other things. It's like, but he's caught saying this. Now he's racist. You know what I'm saying? And it's like we still don't know. I guess now that the FBI said it, now we can say Pittsburgh's a hub of white supremacy. Like our experiences living here, you know, become invalid. You know, I guess we're just sensitive or whatever. But the FBI says it is like, oh, now we can begin to have a conversation. But the question is, and this is where I think, like, and you know, I know we're going to move on, but this is where if the FBI says this Pittsburgh's a hub of white supremacy, and you go to the city and they say no comment, then what you tell Black and brown and indigenous people is you don't have any plan to address the fact that this city is a hub of, like, what does that say to us? Right. What does that say to Jewish people that just experienced the Tree of Life massacre? What is the plan to address this white supremacist hub that is Pittsburgh? And if there's no plan, if there's no follow-up, if there's no policies to address this, like, how can we live here and feel safe? This is a city that constantly loses thousands of Black people every year. But who wants to come live in the hub of white supremacy?
Nobody. And I will say, like, every Black person that has
in Pittsburgh, but that's a whole nother.
Oh, wow. Don't start.
That's my Miracle. I can't blame you, Miracle. Listen, I can't blame you. Go be around your people, Miracle.
First of all, it is a quarantine. But I will say every Black person that has left Pittsburgh has leveled up. We see a lot of reporters on CBS and ABC and CNN. And I was like, do you understand how much talent that you are losing in the city? And it's not just transplants who are leaving. It's people who are born and bred. And you don't understand. When Black and brown people leave your city, everybody else leaves. Nobody wants to live in a city.
All the culture goes.
Like, everybody has different cultures. I love going to the Pierogi Festival. I love going to the Irish Festival, the Greek Festival, going to the different dioceses or different, like, it's cool living in Pittsburgh because there's so many different cultures living within the city. When you start to strip it out, all we have is chain restaurants now. Like, who wants that? Like, who wants to live in a city that's just a cookie cutter of another city? Your soul and your heart and your culture is being pushed out of your city, and you're going to lose so much more than you ever are going to attract, and it's absolutely ridiculous. But I also leave because, like, I mean, there's lead in the water. Like, y'all get advisories about, like, it's hard to breathe.
Somebody got charged today. Like, didn't the water people get charged with, like, dumping?
I will admit my privilege that I have a privilege to jump in a car and go to different families because my family likes me and wants me around them. But it's not that. It's just, it is what it is. Like,
that's crazy.
You know, it's interesting being someone
the ground,
who's like,
and I take care of myself by taking a trip. You know,
being someone who's from Pittsburgh, it's like now I'm starting to reflect because there was a point in time where, like, there were Pittsburgh artists who would tell me, man, Pittsburgh could be so different that people just didn't leave. They just, like, succeeded from here. And it's like they always thought of it as like an issue with the artists. It's like every artist wants to go somewhere else. But it's like they never asked, Why are artists leaving? And now we're seeing like people didn't stay because white supremacy made it hard for us to feel comfortable like continuing our growth here in Pittsburgh. You know what I'm saying?
There's never been a time in Pittsburgh where it was easy to live as a Black person, and that's indicative of the United States of America as a whole. But Pittsburgh has this unique experience when it comes to driving out Blackness. It doesn't matter if you're a professional athlete. It doesn't matter if you're an entertainer, if you're an actor, if you're an educated person. If you're coming here just looking for a better way of life and sustainability, Pittsburgh is not the location for you. And this is the past 3 years in Pittsburgh. If you can't take data from anything else, since we've been talking about data this whole time, you can look at the past 3 years, being a person in the global majority, being someone Jewish, being someone other than white, a WASP in Pittsburgh is very difficult and becoming increasingly more so every hour of the day. It's not even daily. It's literally, there's 24 hours in Pittsburgh that could literally become worse for you every single time one passes if you're something other than white Anglo-Saxon Protestant.
And yet we keep telling Black and brown people to move to Pittsburgh. We keep saying, you know what, maybe we just need more of us here. So then we tell our friends to move here. So we're doing the work and we're critiquing, as Dr. Cornel West says, out of love, because we see what the city could be and how amazing and fun and innovative. Like, how do you have all of these institutions and you don't have a festival that is like a Pittsburgh festival? Like, you don't have a music festival that people flock to. You have the home of jazz, right? And your jazz festival is downtown and not in the Hill District. Like, there's so much stuff going on. And it's like, if you just actually invested in your city, there's so much things, that so much culture, so many talented artists and residents you could actually do here. We could be like the birthplace of so much art.
And Miracle's not even from Pittsburgh, and she's dropping this knowledge. Like, Miracle has been here less than all of us combined. And the affinity she has for the city is clear. Like, there is a charm to Pittsburgh. But Miracle comes on here night after night, dropping all this knowledge about Pittsburgh. The fact that natives don't even know it, because there's a lot of it I don't. I've been living here for 10 years. I don't even know a lot of the stuff that Miracle be talking about. But it's really just all facts. Like Pittsburgh goes out of its way to make life difficult for Black people. It avoids the question. It avoids the topic at every single turn it can. Like Miracle just said, you have the Festival of Jazz downtown, not even in the Hill District. Like, I didn't even think about that. That is madness.
I think too. I mean, and you know, we you know, and I know this has just become a Pittsburgh. It's about Pittsburgh now. You know what I'm saying? Like, but, I think it's also the fact that we're talking about the budget now.
Yeah.
And you know, the mayor decided to, you know, put more money into policing. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, once again, it's like we're not even looking at investing in Black communities at a rate that actually is going to support, you know, Black people, you know, wanting to stay here, believing they can have opportunities here. It's this instance where it's like we're dealing with poverty, like. And Black poverty is our response is the police. We need more police. It's like, no, we need more opportunities. We need these things that Miracle's talking about. We need more real opportunities and investment. We don't need more police, but that's kind of the ideal when it comes to like Black pain and Black poverty. We don't get these, you know, stories about us and, you know, people trying to come and make up with us and all of this stuff. You know what I'm saying? We get more police. We get more cameras in our communities. And what we don't have and we haven't seen is actual more opportunities for Black people in Pittsburgh, despite the fact that it's the worst place for Black women to live, despite the fact that it's the worst place for Black professionals. You would think at some point, like, the corporations would get together with the city officials and something would be put to help Black people. But, you know, unfortunately, we haven't seen that. I mean,
and it's not that hard. Like, literally, it really is not that hard, because what you can say is, you know what, all of these schools will be feeder schools. You have what, Duolingo, you have the coffee place, you have the Steelers. You just create sister cities and investment tools where people know, okay, if I go to this school, I'm going to intern here, I'm going to get this scholarship, I'm going to learn these skills. It's so easy to do. We just don't do it. And it's just like mind-boggling to me. And I've asked students, you know, How many universities, how many of these local professionals come to your high school, come to your middle school, do mentoring, show up, buy, a little ad on the field, and a lot of people don't. So there's a lot of local investment that's not going back into the city, and that's like the problem. There should be no reason I can go into a school and mention the top 5 law firms and no one know what I'm talking about. So it's like, what is your presence going on, and what are you giving back to your community? Because how can you complain that there are no local talent in your C-suites or in your businesses if you're not investing in them?
That's 100% real. 100% real. So we're at 10 minutes to go. Do we want to get into our call to action? I mean, besides like, please, like some type of investment in Black people somewhere, somehow, like,
stay home. Stay home is the call to action, because, well, we said again, Black and brown people are the bulk of the essential workers, even in Pittsburgh, and are being forced to work. And y'all are giving them COVID. Y'all are bringing COVID to their doorstep. You're not wearing masks. You're not socially distancing. You're coughing. You're not washing your hands. So just stay home. Hang out on Zoom. Call people. Write letters. Support the post office. Write some letters. Write some Dear John letters. The person who's been wasting your time. Just stay home. Watch Netflix.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it was just a stay-at-home advisory. It's not an order, but Allegheny County, or I think Pennsylvania as a state issued a stay-at-home advisory that goes into effect at 12 p.m. tonight. So basically, they're saying if it's not a medical emergency or you're not getting food, please try to stay in the house. We had 620 COVID cases today, and so yes, stay at home. You know what I'm saying? And hey, how about writing a letter to the mayor, invest in Black people, signed whoever your name is. That would be a good thing to do in this hour.
Sign it my name. Sign my name on it.
And just speaking of, just kind of like what we were saying, our white pages of the week is a book. Since we, folks is like having trouble with data. Folks are having trouble with the numbers. You don't want to hear more numbers. You don't want to hear more data. This is a book called Without Sanctuary. To me, it's a must-have of any household. It's lynching photography.
That sounds morbid as fuck.
In America. No, but I mean, it's like, look, I mean, you don't want to read the data. So here it is. You know what I'm saying? Like find out what your people really did. I know, I know it's hard to watch, but I mean, this happened here. This happened in America. This is America's history. This is, and it can't be erased. These are people that actually like you celebrated while killing us. That happened here. It wasn't that long ago.
I was just about to say it was not that long ago. Thank you.
It wasn't that long ago. You know what I'm saying? And so
that was last century for real.
Yeah, so for folks that's like, oh, racism don't exist, that, you want to try to rewrite history, these are pictures. These are photographs. This wasn't Photoshop. These are photographs. So Without Sanctuary is, I believe, a book. Definitely every Black household, but I believe every household should have the book Without Sanctuary. Anything else? We got announcements. I mean, we want to talk about Lil Wayne about to go to jail. We had mad stuff to talk about. You know what I'm saying? Mad stuff to talk about. I don't know if Lil Wayne going to call Donald Trump, but he damn sure should. So we always run out of time. Anything else that we didn't cover that y'all want to talk about?
I mean, the cultural reset happening about 24 hours from now, with the Gucci Jeezy verses. So I want everybody to prepare, take some time. My Black people get the Black joy, 217, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. If you're not rooting for Gucci, I mean, maybe you can't ban the snowman, so I think we managed about that. But like, get ready. It's gonna be fun. Practice self-care by watching verses. I'm so excited. Also, the series performing beforehand.
Yeah, I do.
He's like the opening act.
I'm the opening act. Yeah, I'm setting it off for Jeezy. Wouldn't that be wild? Like, That happened to me. I don't know if I told this story where I performed like right after Diggy Simmons.
Interesting.
So like Diggy Simmons was up there doing all the like I love you, baby songs, and then like I came up there like, do we need to start a riot? Need to just change the whole thing. Yeah, that was one of my on the road stories. But yeah, I'm doing a concert at Penn State, Great Allegheny. That's going to be online, so we about to go record it. It's going to be online. It's going to be featuring, all of a lot of our great One Hood artists. So, you can access that for free. You know what I'm saying? A man like Saeed with the shades in LS, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, we should do we should do a 30-minute versus breakdown. I want to do like a podcast just about sports and hip hop and all that stuff, but we'll see what it is. We'll see. I mean, we obviously got to do 2 days a week of white supremacy because it's just so much of it.
We didn't get to Karen. We didn't get
we didn't do Terry Crews, nothing.
We didn't get to
Ted Cruz,
our Terry Crews of the week. It was a dude that ran in one office as like the anti Colin Kaepernick. I forgot I wanted to make him Terry Crews of the week. Yeah, we didn't get to the sister who Cori Bush, who won her congressional seat as a black woman and wore a Breonna Taylor mask, and all the Republicans thought she was Breonna Taylor.
That shit. That's sickening. Like that is sickening.
White people. So yeah, it's a lot of white supremacy that we didn't get to. Are we getting emails? gotwhitesupremacy@gmail.com. Are we getting any emails, Trouble?
I don't know why you keep thinking I have access to this.
Farouk, are we getting emails?
No.
All right. Well, Austin is at the front door. We also have Trouble Friday. A new.
Oh yeah, Blacklight.
Coming from One Hood Media. Can you talk about what's happening Friday? Trouble and a man like Saeed with the shades.
Yes. So Friday we have a show coming out called Blacklight. I'm actually not going to be in it. It's going to be man like Saeed with the shades.
You're not going to be in it?
I mean, unless you want me to, I could be in it.
I didn't know that you weren't going to be in this, bro.
Oh, then I bet. Then there we go. I will be in it. Let's get it.
So thank you all for attending our producer meeting.
Yeah, Blacklight is going to be a show where we highlight and feature, artists, activists in around Pittsburgh. We're featuring Q Perry.
I'm black and I'm light.
This week. Blacklight. I got it. Blacklight. Yeah. So that's Friday at 6:00. That's our new show. Of course, we got On Site tomorrow at 12 p.m. I said on site, on tilt. What am I talking?
On site.
On site is your podcast.
Free smoke.
That would be a dope podcast.
I'm thinking about Gucci and Jeezy.
I got smoke. I got smoke for somebody.
On site.
Yeah.
That's definitely the Saeed podcast is gonna be on site. But on tilt tomorrow at 12. Shout out to Julius and Miss Danielle. And then we got my concert, and then Gucci and Jeezy, and then we got the Blacklight on Friday. Next Saturday, I believe, is the next poetry slam. We got a lot coming to y'all, and we're gonna be back next week because we gotta break down the most. Is Thanksgiving the most white supremacist holiday?
100%.
Oh, wait! Don't answer, brother. Don't answer.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were asking me.
We will find out next week on This Week with White Supremacy. I think that's it. Y'all got anything else?
Never lose sight.
Be safe, turn up, practice self-care.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Pittsburgh City paper. They have dedicated this week's issue to mental health and self-care. They lost one of their own who took his life. And so they're really trying to make sure that people understand there is a plethora of resources for them during this time of COVID. So reach out if you're going through something, realize that, life is hard, but there are so many things that make it better. And if you're looking for something to do, reach out, volunteer. There's a lot of people in need this season. Reach out to some of these organizations to relax your mind. And there are a lot of resources like the On Tilt, the Still Smiling, giving away still free mental health help. So like, please reach out if you are someone who's struggling.
All right, we'll see y'all next Wednesday. Peace. One hood, y'all.
Peace.